originally happened, ever since I was a kid, people would always be like, "Oh, you look like an Abercrombie model," like, "Oh, whatever, like you're good looking and stuff like that." And I mean, I'd be like, "Yeah, whatever," because I'm not trying to be cocky. But then one day while I was in the Navy, my aunt from Florida, she comes up and she calls me up and she's like, "Oh, hey, this my makeup artist that does some stuff for me because she's like a cosmetologist or something. She's like, I've got a makeup artist that works for me, and she also works for this model scout. You should go visit her." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." She's like, "Do it," and I'm like, "Fine, fuck it." So I go and visit her, and she's this crazy lady, and she's like, "Oh, I want to bring you up to New York, blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Well, I'm just on leave right now from the military," and she's like, "Oh, well then I can't work with you." I'm like, "Well, what happens when I get out of the Navy?" She's like, "Oh, I can work with you," and I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I got stationed in Florida, and I started like seeing her because she was in Florida, and like her son did some photo shoots and stuff, and she showed me some agents, and I came up here to New York, and I got signed with one agency for modeling, but I didn't get a whole lot of work out of them because I'm like too boxy and too big. So then I was like, what about acting? You know, that would be fun. And I started going to see an acting coach that she recommended me to. And next thing you know, I was like with three agencies. And I was going on casting calls. Um, and I got like a Dick's Sporting Goods commercial, Drew Brees, and I was in like an AEA showcase, and I don't know, it was weird to see me like only have been acting like 3 months, and then there were a bunch of other people who had been acting for like years, and this AEA showcase was unpaid, and it was here in the city, and I couldn't believe all these other professional actors were in this showcase with me, like having been acting for like 20 years, and it was unpaid. But here I am, like after 3 months, and I'm in the same showcase with them, and that's kind of when I realized like it's all luck. Like, so I've ever since then I've been looking for a way to take out the luck factor, and I'm producing my own stuff now, and I'm making myself one of the leads. So that's my way of taking control of the situation and not accepting that you have to let everyone else decide your fate just because you're an art student.
All right, so uh, well, actually, the story goes back to when I first started photography in the fifth or sixth grade, I believe. It was part of a photo contest in school involving the community. So I was the only student in class who actually wanted to do it because before I even got involved with photography, I was drawing. So I said, all right, why not? And kind of went on from there. Went to the high school of graphic communication arts from, I want to say, 2005 to 2008. 2005 to 2008. Did photography / video production. So that went well. Was also at the time working for a nonprofit organization, shooting documentaries for veterans, ranging from World War II all the way to the Iraq and Afghanistan war. So that in turn inspired me to, their stories kind of inspired me to join the Marine Corps. And we took it from there and joined in 2008, August 24th, 2008. Went through 3 months of hell in boot camp. I mean, it wasn't hard, but it was all mental games, whatever. So after that, went to the School of Infantry, did their normal training block. And when they decided to do the weapons split, that's when I knew. Before then, I wanted to be a machine gunner. So after SOI, went to 1st Battalion, 6th Marines, and my first tour was actually Marj, Afghanistan, the big invasion, one of the biggest offensives in American history now. So went around December 2010. I remember that because we was about to go home for Christmas. Then the news had came on, and President Obama, he we decided that we needed to go push and take Marja. So, we kind of packed our bags and set forth for Marja. Did that whole Marja invasion for 6 or 7 months. The first couple months was a push. We kind of landed in the city around, I want to say 2, 3 in the morning. Had AA guns shooting at us, whatnot. So it was a bit of a trip. But as soon as we landed, it was smack dab, tense. So did that for 6, 7 months. Seen, been around, I can't even count on my hands how many IEDs. Took our first casualty. When we actually invaded the city, I think around the 3rd or 4th day, we took our first casualty. 19-year-old kid from Mobile, Alabama. His name was Keel Dunn. He's called Keel Dunn. So right then we knew that the guys I got once, we knew that it was on. So we continued to press on with the mission. Around month 3, they put me in what's called mobile assault platoons, basically guys in trucks. Basically, what happens is that they take all the machine gunners and assaultmen, and they put them in this map kind of section. This map section, they call it map nowadays. But yeah, we just go around the whole AO and out in the area we worked in, and we would work that town between finding and destroying IEDs to making sure all platoons were resupplied to, even if platoons needed fire support, that's why we would be there. Did that for 6, 7 months. Came back. We thought we was going nowhere at first, but then they told us we were going to Sangin. And Sangin did the same exact thing as Sangin. This time we hardly encountered any IEDs, but the pace was still intense. So the pace and everything was still intense, being given the history of that country at the time. So after I came home, that fire that I had, the same passion I had for photography when I was in high school, rekindled. It's kind of weird going from being a straight shooter to being a photographer, because they have that weird analogy of being a shooter. So, and yeah, just came back home and started my journey to becoming a photographer again, and landed in SVA. So that's basically my story.